Hey everyone, Louis Helbgox here, your church coach and vitalization catalyst for Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Northwestern Ontario. Today I want to talk just for a couple minutes about language and how language matters. Now language always matters, but as we find ourselves in these unique days, as we're transitioning from in-person gatherings to online gatherings, language is essential. So just a couple thoughts. First, I would encourage you to avoid cancellation language. We're not canceling church, we're gathering online, or we're moving our services online. I like the gathering language, but something other than we are canceling church. We're not canceling church. I've already watched a number of church information videos where at the beginning of the video, the pastor or the person giving the information says, we're canceling church this Sunday. And then at the end of the video, they say, and remember, you're the church. Well, A, that's confusing, but B, it's negative, and we don't need to be negative. We want to be intentional about being positive when we're talking about language. Be positive even though we're living in changing times. We are ultimately dispensers of hope, and especially in these days. So be positive. Positive language. Don't say things like, I'm so sorry that we have to meet online like this. Just say something more along these lines. Say, hey everyone, I'm so excited that we live in a day and an age where we can actually leverage technology to gather and connect and share the gospel in creative ways with our friends and our relatives. Be positive. When promoting this new style of Sunday gatherings online, don't use language like, well, on Sunday we're going to watch a video of our service. Now, we're not watching a video of our service. We're going to use language that is the hear from language. Guys, as we gather on Facebook this weekend, I can't wait to hear from our lead pastor as he shares what God has placed on his heart. Or we're going to hear from God this Sunday as we gather online. Hear from God. Hear from God's word. Hear from our lead pastor. We're not just watching a video, but we're gathering together to hear from God, from his word, from our lead pastor. Little tweaks in language make a really big difference. Little tweaks in language make a big difference in how we can create our culture within our church. It can help to set the tone and mood of our congregants in the midst of these times. And little tweaks in language makes a big difference in engagement. As we gather over the next number of weeks on these online or digital platforms, these social media platforms, the likelihood that non-church people connect with us or come across one of our messages in these digital ways is higher than ever before. So when we're talking about language making a big difference in the area of engagement, we need to remember that we don't need to water down the gospel, but we need to be aware that it's very likely that people who don't know our Christianese are going to be hearing our messages and hearing the words that we're saying, and we want them to. We want them to hear what we're saying, so we need to make sure that we're using a language that they will understand and that we're talking to them. We're letting them know that we're actually glad that they found us. We're glad that they're here, that they're joining with us. So just remember that language matters. When you're promoting your weekend services on these new digital platforms, when you're doing your promotion and when you're putting your services together, remember language matters. So I'd encourage you to avoid cancellation language. Go with gather, right? Be positive. Believe it or not, God is still in control and he has a plan in the midst of COVID-19 and in the midst of quarantine, right? God is still in control. And remember our non-church family and friends and neighbors. Remember them when we're communicating, that they're going to be hearing what we're saying. So let's engage in a language that they will be able to engage with.